On today's episode, we're going to show you how to remove and replace the headlight and tail light assemblies, as well as take a look at the fog lamp bulbs on this Chevy Equinox. The tools we'll be using are a fiber stick for prying, a trim removal tool, a small pick, a long extension, 10mm short socket, and a ratchet. In order to remove the headlight capsule from the vehicle, we first have to loosen off our top of our grille to pull it out enough to wiggle our headlight out. This is done first by removing the 4 push clips on the top of the grille assembly. To do this, you first need your trim popping tool. Get underneath the clip, pry up, and remove the clip. On this Chevy Equinox, the headlight is also hidden in behind the outer chrome molding that holds also the grille in. To remove this whole chrome molding, we're first going to use our fiber stick for prying. There's clips on the back side of this, and you have to be real gentle with it in order to get it out and not mark up your bumper cover. First, we're going to get behind it here. Just pick a spot and just slowly wiggle it out. Once you feel it coming, support it with your fingers and gently pry. You want to take your time with this, not rush it, because you will break it if you go too fast. Just slowly work along, wiggling it until it pops out. With our trim molding now removed, we can see the back side of where the clips actually are held into the headlight and the grille assembly. These little white tabs are pushed in there, so that's why you have to wiggle it out nice and slow. Let's put that aside. Now to remove our 10mm bolts holding our headlight capsule in. The first 2 are here, and we have one further one hiding down inside the grille here. Let's have a look at it. Using your long extension and 10mm short socket, just turn out those 10mm bolts. Once they're loose, reach in and pull it out. Now for the other 2. Now to remove our headlight assembly. There's a couple things we have to do here. We're going to pull back on the grille a bit. This allows us more access to pull the headlight out. And also on the back of this headlight, there's a small push retainer holding it into the fender assembly. So let's go ahead and remove that. I'm just going to gently pull on this. This tab here you have to lift up. It's got a little bit of a hook. With that loose, support the headlight and pop it out. And then gently remove it. Let's get the wiring harness off now. Now to remove our electrical assemblies from our pigtails, we're just going to squeeze here on this upper one, on the back of the tab, and slide it out. The next one here has a small push tab inside here, so we'll use our small pick tool, press down, and pop it out. You can see here how it goes up and down there. Set that aside. The next one, we're also going to push on the tab and pull off, just like that. And for our last main one here, it's another push tab here, push down, wiggle it off. Let's take our headlight assembly over to our workbench and have a look at the bulbs. Okay, now we're going to take a look at our marker lights first. To do this, we have to hold on to the pigtail and turn counterclockwise out. With that out, we can now hold on to the bulb, wiggle it out, and take a look. This bulb is a 194 amber marker bulb. It's in good shape, so we're going to take a sec, wipe it off, just in case you get any grease or dirt on it. It hinders the life of the bulb. And return it to place. The next marker bulb's over here. Again, just turn out. Grab hold of the bulb and wiggle it out. This one's also a 194, but it's a clear. It's also good, so we're going to put it back in, wipe it off, and replace it. The tabs on here line up with the tabs in the housing, so really it can only go in one way. Just take your time, press down because there's rubber seal, and turn in. Now we'll take a look at our signal light bulb. Grab the pigtail and turn out. This style has the push-in type. You have to push in and then turn. With that out, we can now see the bulb. This is 1156 single filament amber bulb. It's also in good shape, so let's put that back in and reinstall. Again, line up and turn in. Except wipe off. Line up the tabs at the housing and turn in. Now onto our headlight bulb. The headlight has a retaining ring that holds the bulb actually in place of the capsule. So hold on to it, turn it out, set that aside, grab hold of the bulb, wiggle it out. This bulb is a 9007 headlamp bulb, also in good shape. So we'll put that back in. Line it up, it only sits down in one place, and replace the retaining ring. Now with our headlight out, we can go ahead and take a look at our fog light assembly and the fog light bulb. To remove the fog light bulb, grab hold of it and twist it out. This fog lamp bulb is a Phillips H11. It's in good shape, so we can go ahead and reinstall. Take a sec to wipe it off, place it back in the assembly, and turn in. It's possible to get at the fog lamp bulb if you need to without removing the headlight by coming up through the lower splash shield. Now that we ensured all our bulbs are in good shape, we're going ahead and reinstall the assembly. First we have to reattach our electrical. The headlight only goes on one way. Click it in. Next is our signal light. Slide it over, click it in. Our marker light. And our second marker light. With everything in tight, make sure they're not going to fall off, we can go ahead and put our headlight back in. Before we install this headlight, we're just going to take a second to show you the guide pin that we need to slide into on the fender. It's important that you line up the guides and to ensure that it's in the right position to push it back in. Let's get this headlight in. To reinstall the headlight assembly now, let's place this leading edge inside the bumper cover here. And then you slowly have to work your way in. It's a little tricky, so take your time. Once it drops in close to the right spot, remember to line up your guides here. They're inside. You can kind of feel around. You know when they're in the right spot and push in. With that back in place, we can go ahead and reinstall our 3 10mm bolts. When installing the bolts, just ensure that they're snug. You don't need to over tighten because they will strip out. On the third one, we find it's best to start it by hand because it is a long ways down. Once started by hand, you can go ahead and snug it up with your ratchet. Next, we need to reinstall our grille molding, headlight molding. Just line it up with the placement. Take your time. Once it's in place, go ahead and push it in. All that's left now is to reinstall our 4 push clips in the top of the grill. Just line them up, push them down. And we're done. Now let's take a look at our taillight assembly. We first have to lift up our lift gate to gain access to our bolts. Once the lift gate's up, you now see 2 small plastic covers hiding our 10mm bolts we have to take out. Using your small pick tool, Get to one side of it and slowly pry it out and set it aside. With our covers off, we can now remove our two 10mm bolts. Set those aside. With our two 10mm bolts out of the way, we'll remove the assembly by holding on to the tail light, wiggling it back, using our fiber stick to get behind the leading edge and twist out. Once out, we can see the two guides that hold the tail light into the quarter. For the electrical, there's a small push tab on the bottom side of this pigtail. Grab hold of it, push in, and wiggle the clip out. Let's go have a look at the tail light bulbs. Let's have a look at our reverse bulb here. Just grab a hold of the pigtail and turn it out. Once that's out, you can grab a hold of the light bulb and pull it out. It's a 921 single element. It's in good shape, so we can go ahead and reinstall that. Take a second to wipe it off. Line up your tabs and turn it back in. Next is our marker light. Same thing, grab a hold of the pigtail, turn out, hold on to it and pull it up. This is a 194 bulb, single filament, good shape too, so we'll go ahead and reinstall that. Just take your time, line it up, and turn back in. Now take a look at our turn signal marker bulbs. Turn out the pigtail. Grab hold of the bulb, push in, and turn out. This bulb is a 2057 double filament clear, in good shape. So we can go ahead and reinstall. It has two tabs on here that are offset, so it only goes in one way into the pigtail. Just take a look at it. Once you find which way it goes, push in and lock it in. Once it's in place, take a second to wipe it off. Line up your tabs and turn back in. On the second one, same thing, turn out, grab hold of the bulb, push in, and turn it out. This bulb is also a 2057 double filament clear, in good shape as well. So lining up the two tabs on the bulb, and turn back in. Wipe off, and reinstall. Let's put that assembly back in our vehicle. Now to reinstall our assembly, we'll first reconnect our electrical to our pigtail here. It can only go in one way. Place it in, click it in. Just make sure it's in nice and tight. Next, we'll have to light up the two guides onto the quarter. And push in. Once that's in place, we can go ahead and reinstall our two 10mm bolts. With our tail light assembly realigned, we can go ahead and reinstall our 10mm bolts. The main thing here is not to over tighten. You don't want to crack the casing. So one. And two. With our bolts nicely snugged in, we'll go ahead and replace our two covering caps. They have two little tabs on the back that line up. They hook up and then press in. And there we are. In this segment, we showed you how to remove and replace your headlight and your tail light, as well as inspect and replace the bulbs on this Chevy Equinox.